You know, I gotta thank all of you. I mean, I feel so good about this YouTube channel. We're over 1,800 subscribers now. I mean, I just hit the 1,000 mark at the very beginning of the year, like in January, February. This is exciting. It's funny, over the past couple years as I've been building this channel, not knowing at all what I'm doing, it used to be that the comments I'd get were very negative and harassing, and just, I'm like, is everybody a troll? And now, like, the people who do say stuff like that, like, I have a whole army of you to defend, you know, against the guy and tell him to go away, you know, kind of thing. Because we're all in this together. We like overanalyzing hair loss. We can have fun with it, and you can know that I'm not trying to sell you anything. We're just part of, here you have a place to belong. And I just feel so good about what we've got going on that I want to share something with you. Actually, let's see if I can find it. Actually, oh shoot, I don't want to get caught. See there. So I almost got busted. Look what I got though. I'm sharing this with you before anybody else knows. Keep in mind, I'm a blogger, right? I'm just as popular in the blog world as I am on YouTube, but it's for parenting. It's not for hair loss. And I'm revealing this to you before any of them. I've only told my immediate family. No one else knows what this is. Amazingly, my DNA results came in last night. So they said 4 to 6 weeks. It was like 2 weeks and 5 days. So it took some research on my part to fully understand like what this all meant. I had to look up some words. But I definitely, I mean, I say I believe. Would anybody argue that there's obviously, you can predict hair loss to a certain degree based on your ethnicity? We know that, you know, whether you lose your hair or not, it's based on your DNA. So obviously, certain DNA is more susceptible to DHT having an effect on hair loss. I mean, that's not even a theory, right? That's common sense for all of us. That's kind of one of the main things we've been talking about. So, as you know, what got me into this whole thing is knowing that Asian men are less likely to lose most of their hair at a younger age. If they're going to go to Norwood 4, 5, and 6, it's going to tend to be later on in life, not in their 20s or 30s like happens with men of European descent. So I've always said, if you're mostly European, you're probably more likely to be the guy that loses most of your hair early on and be a hairier guy that can grow a beard. So that's fundamental to this channel. So it only makes sense that I want to share this with you. Let's talk about this. This is my DNA. Okay, I thought my mom, half Mexican, half Italian, but that's not how it shows up on here. It shows up more that, well, here's how it works. I'm 37.4% West European, which is showing up basically as German and Dutch. Okay, and then I'm also 6.1. Like it says Eastern Europe, but it's showing up as Polish. Okay, so I mean that's like 43% like non-British, like not Scottish, not Scandinavian, not English, not Irish or anything like that, but like that other part of Europe. So I mean that's what did I say, about 43% European is what I am, but the rest of me is not necessarily European. Like most of me is not European. I am 31.8% Iberian, which shows up as Spanish and Portuguese, which is weird because my mom always, I mean, she is half Italian, but according to this, we're 0% Italian. We're Spanish basically on both sides, but I'm also 21.6% Central American, which Aztec. And then I'm 2.3% Baltic, which is like Albanian or Lebanese. And then, check this out, I'm 0.8% Middle Eastern. I always thought, if anything, I might be part Jewish, or maybe Native American Indian, or maybe even part African. But again, I'm like 37% German Dutch, about 32% Spanish, 21.5% Aztec, 6% Polish, 2% Albanian or Lebanese, and then like a little less than 1% Middle Eastern. So like, that's interesting to me, just because I'm obsessed with ethnic backgrounds, and like finally I know. And how am I not Italian? My mother's grandfather came here from Italy with an Italian first name, Italian last name. He spoke Italian, but he wasn't Italian. He was like, basically he was Spanish with traces of like Middle Eastern and Lebanese and Albanian. So they like snuck into Italy, changed their name, pretended to be Italian. Everybody believed it. And then they came to America and no one knew a difference until now. Like, I discovered this like a couple hundred years ago, a couple hundred years later, that these Italian ancestors actually were not Italian at all. They were something else. And they fooled everybody, and I just discovered that. So yeah, these are the results from MyHeritage DNA kit. I'm trying to sort it out. Like, this is just the weirdest thing to me. But going back to hair loss, I am, if you divided me in half, I still wouldn't quite be European. If you divided me in half, more of me is non-European. If you look, let's see. So basically, yeah, I mean, 53% of me is like Aztec and Spanish. So I'm more Latino than anything. I mean, that's what this is showing me. I'm more than 0.5% Latino, which I always thought maybe I was a quarter, because we thought, well, if my Mexican grandmother, she's Mexican 100%. Well, she was mainly Aztec, and because Mexicans are often like part Spanish or European and Aztec, but she was almost all Aztec. So overall, I'm more Latino than anything. Now, what can we draw from this? And you better believe I'll continue to overanalyze this. But when you take someone who is of Latino descent, typically they're less likely to lose their hair compared to someone who's European descent. But ultimately, I'm somewhere near half and half. It's almost, if you really wanted to dumb it down, it's almost like I'm a little less than half European, but I'm more Latino than anything, with traces of this whole Middle Eastern thing. So I don't know. Like, I just found this out. I'm processing it. And I know this is like not, usually I'm more focused on what I'm saying, but I needed to make this video for me to kind of understand this myself. Ethnically, I'm not what I thought I was. And I'm not Italian, and I have ancestors who pretended to be Italians, and then they moved here, and everyone assumed that they really were Italian. Okay, so yeah, I'm like half Latino, is really the way I understand this. I'm half Latino, and I'm about half European. And I'm about halfway there as far as hair loss. I mean, I'm not bald, and I'm not like perfect head of hair. I guess that if I wanted to generically theorize what a guy that's half Latino and half European should look like, I guess it would be this. But I'm not British. I'm not like, you know, Prince William and all that. I have none of my DNA is Jewish or African or that northern part of Europe. So, okay, I guess I feel better, and you get to be the first to know my ethnicity, because I'll go public with this and make a big deal about it on my blog, but you deserve to hear it first. You've been supporting me so much and giving me such kind words. So, there you go. You've got a half Latino host with traces of Middle Eastern. I've got some Muslim ancestors somewhere way up the tree I didn't even know about.